Morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning, ma'am.
Shall I start?
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay. Can you see everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So today I will be discussing about communication. Okay. So what is communication? What do you understand by the term communication?
Ma'am, communication is the process of exchanging any information.
Yes, very good. Anybody else? Communication is the process of exchanging information. Anyone else wants to add some points? Let's see. Communication is a dynamic process. That means it is changing constantly. Okay, it is not a static process. It keeps on changing. Okay, that takes place around us all the time. Then we spend 70% of our time receiving and sending messages. Yes, if we do not receive and send messages, we will not be able to share information. So most of our time we spend and receiving messages. Someone's speaker is on. Please mute. There's everybody. Share, meaning to share. Communication is derived from which word? It is derived from Latin word. Means to share. So as you have said, communication is the exchange of information or ideas or facts or feelings, thoughts, opinions. Okay, all these we will exchange, which is vital in facilitating human interaction through symbols or through actions. So communication is a exchange of ideas, facts, feelings, thoughts, opinions, and information. We do not only share information, we share our ideas, we share facts, we share our feelings, we share our thoughts, okay, which will facilitate human interaction, which will help in interaction between human and this well also. It is imparting or exchanging. Okay, so while exchanging information, there will always be a medium or a channel. Without a channel or a medium, we cannot exchange information, right? It may be either through words, either written or oral. It may be through say non-verbal communication. Okay, so there has to be a medium always. Okay, it may be mass media also, anything, any medium through which we share information is called as medium. Okay, so to share or to exchange information, there has to be a medium. Communication is a process in which a message is transferred from one person to another person through a suitable media. As I have already explained, there has to be a media, okay, and the message is received and understood by the receiver. Okay, so communication is a process in which a message is transferred. We all know there has to be a message for a communication to take place. Without a message, communication will not take place. Then there will be a receiver and there will be a sender. The person who sends the information will be the sender, and the person who receives the information will be the receiver. Now there has to be a channel. As you can see in the picture, there is your, you may write letter, you may email, you may email a person, okay, you may talk face to face, okay, any channel, through any channel, we have to send information. So there has to be a sender, there has to be a message, then there has to be a channel through which the message goes, and the receiver. Okay, so that is the process of communication. Next, the definition of communication given by Paul Liggins: a process by which two or more people exchange ideas, facts, feelings, or impressions in ways that each gains a common understanding of meaning, intent, and use of message. So there has to be two people. For a communication to take place, there has to be two people, and there has to be a information or a message that needs to exchange. Why we exchange our message, why we exchange our information. Now I am giving lecture about communication. This is also a type of communication. Now why I am explaining to you, or why I am talking to you about communication, so that you will have a knowledge, or you will have understanding about the topic. So why we exchange message, or why we exchange information, so that there is a common understanding of the meaning that we intend to send a message. Okay, so that is the meaning of communication given by Paul Liggins. Next, communication is a two-way process of sharing and transmitting ideas, information, and message between two or more individuals. I hope you understand this. So according to Webster's dictionary, communication is a process by which information is exchanged between individuals through a common system of symbols and signs of behavior. Okay, so this common system of symbols and signs of behavior, this is a channel. Okay, the meaning of this is, it means to say that communication is a process in which information is exchanged through channels between one or more person or individual. Okay, understood everybody? Definition of communication.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now coming to purpose of communication. Can anybody tell me one purpose of communication?
To share information, to interact.
Yes, very good. To share information or to interact. Okay. Exchanging information regarding health for nursing. Okay, we need to exchange information regarding health with the doctors, with our fellow colleagues, with other department people. Okay, so that we have a better understanding about the patient. Then maintenance of health records and to receive correct reports. If we do not maintain proper communication, okay, proper rapport with other departments, we will not receive the health records. Okay, we will not receive the correct reports. So we need to maintain a harmonious communication with all the departments in a hospital. Okay, then maintaining continuous public contact. Next, publicizing health policies, actions, and activities, and removing of any rumors. So while we do communication, it will remove rumors. Okay, if there is any rumors, if there is any misunderstanding, if we communicate, then all those will be removed. Obtaining feedback from community or health workers. Okay, if we want to obtain any feedback about our healthcare facility, or about the care given to the community, or about any problem from the community or healthcare workers, then communication will help. Then making health education effective. Communication, we do communication to make the health education. If we have to give any education about health towards patients or the community or to the family, then communication is needed. Okay, ensuring public participation in health programs. I hope you all understand all these points, very easy. Then encouraging cooperation, coordination, good personal relation among health worker. So if there is proper communication, then it will encourage the healthcare workers. It will have a good relation between the colleagues and the other healthcare workers, and we can work together in cooperation and coordination, which is very necessary in a healthcare facility, because a lot of departments come together and work together. Okay, only one department, only a nursing department cannot work in a healthcare facility for the better care of the patient. So all the departments have to come together. So to maintain a good relationship among all the departments, we need communication. Okay. Next, coming to principles of communication. So communication should have conviction or strong belief. You should have a strong belief and you should have a conviction. If you are not convicted enough, then you cannot share your message with others, right? You have to be convinced about the message that you are sharing, and you have to have a strong belief about the message and the information that you are planning to share. It should be appropriate to situation. Now I am taking your class about communication. I cannot come and share about any other topic, okay, because it is not appropriate to this situation. So if the situation is formal, we will communicate formally. If it is not formal, among our friends, among our family members, then it may be informal communication. So depending on the situation, communication takes place. Then communication should have objective and purpose. Now again, I'm taking class, I'm explaining this topic. My objective is so that all the students will have a basic knowledge about communication, and they will be able to use this knowledge in their clinical setting. That is my objective and my purpose. So with that purpose and objective, I'm taking your class. So whenever you are communicating with anybody without objective or without a purpose, we are not talking, right? So communication always should have an objective and a purpose. Next, it should promote total achievement of purpose. Next, I will see whether you have achieved my purpose or not, whether I have achieved my objectives or not. How I will see? By asking you questions, right? So after communicating, we'll have to make sure whether our purposes or whatever our objectives were fulfilled or not. Then communication should represent personality and individuality of the communicator. Okay, so the communication should represent the personality. Okay, what is your personality? Okay, what is the individuality of the communicator? It should be represented. Then it should be oriented to the interest or need of the receiver. Okay, it should be oriented to the interest or need of the orienter. Now it is your need to take up this topic, right? It is your need also to take up this topic because it is there in the syllabus, and if you are not studying this topic, you will miss off one of the topic from the syllabus, right? So you are oriented about your need. Okay, without the need of the receiver, the sender cannot send message or cannot communicate. What will happen if there is no need of this communication from the receiver's end? The receiver will not pay attention. The receiver will not receive the message that the sender intends to send. Okay, so both the receiver and the sender should have the purpose, should have the objective, and should have the interest on the topic. Okay, then it should be familiar and seek attention. Now if I talk about a very different topic that is not familiar with you people and you are not attentive, so what will happen? It will not be attentive. You will not be attentive. You will not feel like listening to my lecture, right? So communication has to be familiar. Okay, we cannot talk we cannot use jargon languages, or we cannot talk about topics which are out of our interest or which does not give attention. Okay, next, credibility. That is, credibility meaning worthy of the trust is very important in communication. Now if you do not trust me, or if you do not trust your friends while communicating, the proper communication will not take place, right? You are trusting me that yes, she can take this class, or I can explain the topic properly. Okay, you are trusting me with this topic. Okay, that is why this communication is possible. Now if you are not trusting, you will not feel like talking, and you will not feel like receiving the information. Okay, so credibility is very important in communication. Okay, understood everybody the principles of communication?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am.
Now coming to the levels of communication. Okay, there are total 5 levels of communication. The first one is extra-personal communication. From the name, can anybody tell me what do you understand by the term extra-personal relation or extra-personal communication? Can you get any idea from the name? Extra-personal, meaning when a communication takes place not with a human being. You are talking and you are not talking with a human being. For example, communication with your pets, communication with your pet dog, communication with your pet cat. If that communication is called as extra personal communication. Communication where the receiver is not a human being. Okay, if that type of communication takes place, it is called as extra personal communication. Okay, understood? Next is interpersonal communication. Interpersonal means among people. Okay, now intrapersonal means within yourself. Okay, when a communication takes place within yourself, that is called as intrapersonal. Next, small group communication. From the name itself, when communication takes place within a small group or an organization, then it is called as small group communication. Next, public communication. When communication takes place in public with a large group, okay, that is called as public communication. Now, let's see. As I have told about extrapersonal relations, extrapersonal communication, you can see from the picture, two kids, they are talking with their pets. Okay, they are communicating with their pet dogs. Okay, that is the example of extrapersonal communication. When communication takes place outside of human being, when the other person or other at the other end of the communication, the whoever is receiving the communication, if that thing is not a human being, okay, then that is called extra personal communication. Next is interpersonal communication. Communication that takes place within different people, different individuals. Okay, for an interpersonal relationship, interpersonal communication to take place, uh, for an interpersonal communication to take place, we need two or more people or two or more individual. Okay, when you are talking among friends, when you are talking among your family members, that is called interpersonal communication. The communication that takes place within two or more individual, that is called interpersonal communication. Next is intrapersonal communication. You can see here, there are lots of, from the picture, there are lots of thing that is present inside the brain here, and this person is thinking and talking about to himself. Okay, intrapersonal communication is all about talking to ourselves. When we think about some topic, when we have a thought, okay, that is called intrapersonal communication. Okay, so you can see here, prefix intra means within. Okay, intra means within, personal means the person. Okay, so the communication that takes place within the person itself. Sometimes we tend to think things and we tend to decide on, yes, I will do that or I will do this. Okay, that communication that you are that is taking place within you, that is called intrapersonal communication. Okay, simple, you can say intrapersonal, meaning of intrapersonal communication is self-talk. Okay, when you talk with yourself, that is called intrapersonal communication. Next, coming to small group communication. as I have already explained, and you can see from the picture, communication between formal or informal groups or teams. If the communication is take place in an organization which is very formal, okay, as you can see here in the second picture, they are in a meeting, okay, in an office. So here the communication will be formal, okay. When you are communicating among your friends or among your family members, among your peers, then that communication may be informal type. So in small group communication, the communication may be formal or it may be informal. Next is public communication or one-to-group communication. So can anybody give one example of public communication or one-to-group communication?
Politician.
Yes, politician, very good. Anything else?
And then college lectures.
Yes, college lecturers, very good. So now this lecture that I am taking, this class that I am taking, this is a one-to-group communication. I am talking and you all are receiving. Okay, I am the source which is sending the information and you are the receivers which is receiving my information. Okay, that is one-to-group. Or as you have told, what political leaders, when political leaders they go and talk in public, okay, they are the only person who are talking and the public is listening, okay. So that is public communication or one-to-group communication. Understood everybody the levels of communication?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is
Yes,
the
ma'am.
levels of communication? There are 5 levels of communication. The first one is extra-personal communication. Next, interpersonal communication. Then intrapersonal communication. Okay. Then small group communication. And the last one is public or one-to-group communication. Easy to understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Am I too fast?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now
No,
come
ma'am.
to the elements of communication. So what are the elements of communication? So there are in total 7 elements of communication. Okay, source, idea, message, encoding, channel, receiver, decoding, and feedback. Okay, so let's see what are, as you can see here, sender, there will be a sender, okay, and there will be a source idea. In that sender, there will be a source idea, there will be idea in that sender, okay. Next, the sender will encode the message, okay. There will be a message which will be encoded by the sender. Then there will be, you can see here, media, that means it is the channel, okay. Then the receiver will receive and decode, okay. These two happens simultaneously, okay. You will decode and receive the message, okay. Next, you will respond to the message and you will give feedback to the sender. So it is a circular type, circular process, okay. The communication process is a circular type. It keeps on rotating. There has to be a feedback always, okay. Now if I ask you all whether you are understanding, okay, that is the sender. I am the sender and I am sending the message, okay. You are decoding and you are receiving it, and you are telling me, you are giving me feedback that yes, I am understanding the topic, or no ma'am, it is not understandable, okay, I want to clarify this topic. So this is the feedback that you are giving from my message, okay. So that is the communication process. So coming to source idea, the source idea is the process by which one formulates an idea to communicate to another party. Okay, here you can write sender / source idea. Okay, so sender will formulate an idea, what idea he or she wants to communicate to the receiver or to the other party at the receiving end. Okay, so this how the sender will get the idea, okay, how they will get the idea. So they can be influenced by external stimuli such as books. You say you have watched one nice nice video in, say, in your Facebook, okay, and you are motivated, you are stimulated by that video, and you want to share that video, or you want to share that information sorry, you want to share that information with your friends, okay. So that is the basically source idea. You will be stimulated by external stimuli. It may be books or radio, okay, or it can come about internally by thinking about a particular subject. Say you thought that after your HS you want to do nursing, okay, that is coming from within. You are thinking what you will do further in your career, and you have chosen nursing. Then you have sent that message to your parents that I want to take up nursing as my subject, okay, further. I want to study further in nursing, okay. So that is the stimuli that is coming from within you. And this source idea is basically the basis for communication, okay. Without a source idea, or without a sender having that idea, you cannot communicate. Next, the message. As we all know, the message means what is the message that we want to communicate, or what we want to tell to the receiver, or we want to tell to the other party, okay. So it is based on the source idea. It will always be based on source idea, okay. But the idea that you are thinking within yourself, and the message that you give the message, okay, differently, because you will think of that idea in a raw form, okay. Next, you will formulate it how you can give the message so that the receiver will understand, or will know the meaning of your message that you are trying to send, okay. So it will be crafted in such a way that it meets the needs of the audience, okay. For example, if the message is between two friends, the message will take a different form than if communicating with a superior. Now you want to ask something, or you want to clarify some doubt with me, okay. The way you talk with me and the way you talk with your friends will be different, right? You will be somewhat formal when talking with me, and when talking with your friends you will be informal, okay. So again, the message that you are intending to send, it will based on the source idea, and next it will based on the situation or to whom you are going to give the message. Next, coming to encoding. Encoding is how the message is transmitted to another party. Okay, how, whether you want to give oral message or you want to give written message, okay, or if like for example, say through non-verbal, through any gestures or through your facial expression, how you want to give the message, okay. Next, the medium of transmission will determine the form of communication. Okay, the form of communication will be determined by the medium of transmission, how you want to transmit. As I have already explained, whether you want to write it, whether you want to do oral, okay, you want to, or whether you want to send information through gestures, facial information, facial expression, okay. So all these, the communication will depend, the form of communication will depend on the medium of transmission. Okay, we will come to form of communication later. So for example, the message will take a different form if the communication will be spoken or written, okay. Next, coming to the channel, okay. Channel means the medium. The channel is the medium of the communication, okay. Say, the channel must be able to transmit the message from one party to another without changing the content of the message, okay. Say you are sending message through WhatsApp, or you are sending message through email, okay. So those are the channel, those are the medium of communication, okay. You are calling, you are sending message over phone, okay, or you are sending message face to face, okay. So a channel must be able to transmit the message. You can see here it is, I have highlighted it by giving underline. So this is important. You have to make sure that the channel is able to transmit the message without changing the content of the message. If the channel through which you are sending the message, it changes the meaning, okay, change the meaning of your message, then the receiver will receive a completely different message. Okay, what you are sending and what the receiver is receiving will be completely different. So you'll have to make sure, and you'll have to choose an appropriate channel which will not change the content of the message. As you can see here, it can be a piece of paper, it can be radio, it can be through email, it can be anything. Okay, it can be TV, it can be through internet, through Google, through YouTube, anything. Okay, any medium that you use to communicate will be known as channel. Next, receiver, you all know what is receiver, the one who will receive the message, or the one at the end of the communication. Okay, so that is a receiver. See, for my communication, you all are the receivers. Coming the next, decoding. Decoding means how you are interpreting the message being sent to you. Okay, decoding is the process where the message is interpreted for its content. How I want to, for example, I want to send a message through this class about communication, about the definition, about the meaning, okay, about levels, okay, about these elements or the communication process. I want to send those information, and how you are interpreting, how I am explaining is the decoding. Okay, how you are interpreting. Now I am explaining about decoding. I am explaining that how you are interpreting the content. So you may not understand, you may interpret it differently to my explanation. Okay, it's how you receive the message and how you understand the message sent by the sender. That is called decoding. Okay. It also means the receiver thinks about the message content and internalizes the message. Once you will decode, once you will think what the sender has received the message, you will think it, and you will then try to send feedback. Okay, so that is the feedback is the final step in the communication. Okay, without feedback, the communication process is not complete. Okay. So feedback is the final step in the communication. This step conveys to the transmitter that the message is understood by the receiver. The receiver formats an appropriate reply to the first communication based on the channel and sends it to the transmitter of the original message. So, if, for example, I send you a WhatsApp message and you replied it back to me. So that is feedback. When you reply back to the sender about what you have understood and what is your what you have interpreted from the message, that is called feedback. Okay, so that's all. I will stop here my class today. Next, I will continue the forms and types of communication. Okay, everybody. So you have understood so far?
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I too fast?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so today we have discussed about the meaning of communication, the definition, the purposes, the
Principles.
principles of communication, okay, then the levels and the elements or the communication process. Okay, when communication process, suppose in your exam the question is communication process, so you can write this. Okay, you can write about this and you can explain this is the elements or the communication process. So if a question comes about communication process, you can draw this. Okay, if you are drawing this, it will be very it is much more good, and you will get more good marks. Okay, so if you are getting a question about communication process, make sure that you are drawing this diagram, okay, and you are explaining each of the elements properly how I have explained you. Okay, understood? And if element comes also, if elements of communication process comes as a question, then you will have to explain all this. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Communication is a very common topic that comes in exam. Okay, and this communication process and elements of communication, it comes frequently in exam. So make sure this is an easy topic So make sure that you understood it properly and you are studying it. Okay, everybody?